friends. Glad you joined me tonight. I am fixing a meal that we all love. It's from back in the 50s, and it's a tater tot casserole created in Minnesota. And who doesn't love tater tots? And who doesn't love ground beef? Anyway, it's a great combination, and so I'm going to show you how to easily put this together in a one skillet for a one dish meal. Let's get started. Okay, start with a 8 to 9 inch iron skillet is what I recommend, because we're going to be putting it in the oven, and we don't want anything that won't cook in the oven or that won't bake in the oven. So use a iron skillet, and then I'm just going to spray it with just a tad bit of oil, just because and just because I don't want my hamburger to stick. Now I have a pound of ground beef. I'm going to add to the skillet. And we want to break that ground beef up. And I always tell you, I use grass-fed ground beef. I'm real health conscious and watching for the greatest. This even happens to be organic. But then you'll see me do things that you'll go, and she thinks about her health so much and she's eating that? Oh well, it's kind of the way we are. So let's brown this up. Now this is starting to brown up. Let's go on and add our onions. Now, I have chopped my red onions. They could be yellow or white, it's up to you. And I've got about a cup of chopped onions here I'm going to add. And they can cook at the same time as the ground beef. Get tender and add flavor. Yum. This is so delicious and so easy. And besides that, all of the family loves it. Kids love it, adults love it. You just will please everyone when you make this casserole. Now is a good time to add our garlic. Our onions are just about tender, and I've taken 4 cloves of garlic and minced it. If you want to take a shortcut, you can use garlic powder, and I would use about 5 to 6 teaspoons of garlic powder. Let's let that release its flavors into this delicious hamburger mixture. I'm so glad you joined me today for this fun meal. I just love to cook, and I love to eat, and I love sharing my recipes. If you're enjoying my videos, please subscribe and join our community of friends. It helps me know that what I'm doing is helpful to others. Okay, what we want to do now is to empty the ground beef into a bowl and set it aside. See what the easiest way to do this will be. Now while I'm doing this, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now take 2 tablespoons of butter and add it to your skillet. You want your skillet turned down to more like a medium heat. You don't want your butter to burn. Don't burn your butter. And then let's add a couple of tablespoons of flour here. And you want to cook this long enough for that flour to brown a little and get that flour taste out. This is what's going to be our thickening agent. Isn't this fun? I love it. My mouth is watering just thinking about what this is going to taste like. Now what you're going to want to do is to add your beef broth, 1.5 cups. I'm using Better Than bouillon, so I will add 1.5 cups of water first and then add my bouillon in. Making a little mess there. Get that stirred a little before I stop. And scrape off the bottom. Now let's add a tablespoon of this Better Than bouillon beef. And let's stir that all in. Whew, I'm sloshing it. Now I've kept a little extra water on the side in case mine thickens too much. Okay, let's add some Worcestershire sauce, about 1 tablespoon. Now I'm going to add pepper, but not salt. I might taste it a little later and decide if I need salt, but that bouillon has a lot of salt in it, so I don't want to over salt it. And I'm going to be adding cheese, which also has salt in it. Now that's about 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. Now what I want us to do is to add about 1/2 cup of half and half. Okay, now then, we're going to take 2 cups of Sharp Cheddar. We're going to take 2 cups of Sharp shredded cheese. That's hard to say. And we're going to use half of it in our sauce here. And set the other half aside. I'm having lots of trouble with my words today. Please help me, help me. Anyway, let's melt that cheese into this gravy. And once that's melted, let's get our hamburger and add it back in. We don't want that boiling, so I've turned my heat down a little bit more, and let's stir this in. Now, a larger skillet would probably be helpful because mine is almost overflowing. Now I'm going to take a little taste to see if I need to add salt to this. No, it's perfect without the salt. Okay, so stir this since it's boiling. In fact, let's turn this off. Now it's time for the famous tater tots. Now I'm watching my weight a little, so I'm using 1/2 bag, which is 1 pound, but a full bag is 2 pounds, and that's what the recipe calls for. And you just set your tater tots on top, like so. And they are still frozen, you don't thaw them. And as you can see, there's plenty of tater tots in this. So now it's ready to go in the oven for 35 minutes. After 35 minutes, we're gonna pull it out and put the rest of our cheese on and put it back in the oven. So let's put this in the oven. Well, it's been 35 minutes and look at this. Does it look delicious or what? Now what we do is take the remainder of our cheddar cheese and sprinkle it on the top. Isn't this easy? I mean, wonderful comfort food. And so easy to make and something everybody likes. Thank you to the people from Minnesota for creating this. You know, I grew up in the 50s and my mother never made this for me. This is the first time I've made it. So I'm excited to try this. Okay, let's put this back in the oven for 10 minutes so we can melt the cheese and let it brown slightly. Alrighty. Wow, look at this. Thanks for staying with me while I bake this wonderful casserole. I think mine has too much juice in it, but I really don't know. If you've made this casserole before and have suggestions, please leave them in the comments for me. But I'm gonna go on and serve this up and see what we end up with. Okay, let's take a taste of this and see what it tastes like. What everyone's been talking about. Well, it is hot. Too hot. Give me a minute. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay with me while I taste this so I can give you some opinions. Here we go. That is delicious. I can really taste the onions and the garlic. Oh, and all of the cheesiness of it, and then that tater tot. This is awesome. You have got to try this if you haven't already before in your life, and share it with the rest of your family because I know they're gonna love it. It's a great comfort food. Yum. Well, thanks for watching. Bye now.